Good evening. Test, test. Got a hot mic. Good evening. Welcome to the Anchor Bay School District Regular Board of Education meeting. I'd like to call to order and the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you very much. Mr. Vincelli, do the roll call, please.
Yes. Mr. Covert? Here. Ms. Knox?
Here.
Mr. Sunnyberger?
Here.
Mr. Venatelli's here. Ms. Berkmeyer?
Here.
Mr. Powers?
Here.
Mr. Richards?
Here.
Mr. President, everyone is here today.
Great, thank you. All right. Next item on the agenda is approve the agenda. I would like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
All right. Motion by Mr. Covert, supported by Ms. Knox. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All right. Hearing none, call the roll.
All right. Mr. Covert?
Yes.
Ms. Knox?
Yes.
Mr. Sunnyberger?
Yes.
Mr. Venatelli is a yes. Ms. Berkmeyer?
Yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Richards?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is student art recognition. Ms. Muriel Hayes and Miss Libby Fortune.
Thought she was on mic, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm sure you thought
That- that-
teacher voice doesn't get it in here.
Oh, thank
Try
you.
that.
Don't need
Okay.
mics.
Well,
Oh, my goodness.
we're going to announce our award winners. And then we're going to call all children up on stage. Ready?
Mhm.
Okay. For kindergarten, our honorable mention was Peyton Long from Lottie and Nalani. And Nalani Fowler from Naldrit. Third prize was Cora Davis from Naldrit.
Okay. And honorable mention awards, in grade 1, go to Maya Kacheski, Great Oaks Elementary. And another honorable mention goes to Colton Rush, Naldred Elementary. And grade 1 also for first place, Raylan Bush. Lottie Schmidt Elementary. Okay, second prize is Hadley Ricky, Great Oaks Elementary. And third prize in grade 1 is Elijah
Stringer.
Stringer. Reading my glasses.
okay.
I don't have glasses on. Great. Oh, thank you.
For grade 2 honorable mention, we had Aria Zarzicki from Naldred Elementary. And second prize for Madeline Seifert from Naldred Elementary. And third prize, Jackson Davies from Lottie Schmidt Elementary.
And then we have grade 3. First prize goes to Ryder Cunningham, Naldred Elementary. Second prize goes to Charlotte Tourville, Great Oaks Elementary. In fourth grade now for honorable mentions. Ivy, geez, you told me just a minute ago. Geez. Oh, Mikulski, Great Oaks Elementary. Sorry, Ivy, I probably messed that up. Sorry. Layla Woods, Carluck, Lottie Schmidt Elementary. And grade 4, third prize, Kate Bilderback, Lottie Schmidt Elementary.
If all students could grab their artwork off of the table and join us on stage in front of the steps, we would appreciate that. I'm not getting any. That's
I think of that, I can read mine, I need it.
All right. Great job. Moving down the agenda, the next item is going to be Support Staff Employee of the Year. And presenting that tonight will be Ms. Gonzalez.
Good evening, President Richards, Board of Education, and Superintendent Jankowski. I'd like to call Sherry DiCristofaro up. Tonight, it is an honor to recognize this year's Support Staff Employee of the Year, Sherry DiCristofaro. Her kindness, dedication, and positivity has made a lasting impact on everyone fortunate enough to work with her. I have tortured Sherry all day with this speech. Since beginning her journey with Anchor Bay on November 29th, 2000, she has been a constant source of kindness, positivity, and support for everyone around her. She started at the administration office as a half-day mail driver and half-day afternoon receptionist, and then moved to a in a role where so many people first experienced her warm smile and caring spirit. She then became the full-time receptionist, and then in 2014, she was promoted to her current position, administrative assistant to the superintendent, where she continues to serve with professionalism, compassion, and heart. If you know her, you already know that she is truly the kindest person you will ever meet. And that's worthy to say again, she really is the kindest person you will ever meet. She's always smiling, always looking on the bright side, and always willing to help. She is the first person to step in to offer her support. Even if she doesn't know exactly how to do the work herself, she'll jump right in beside you, and together you figure it out. I have experienced that, and I'm very grateful to Sherry. I can share that anytime I have to go to the file room where we filed stuff from, the 1900s. I asked Sherry to join me because she's the only one that can get that door unlocked. Plus, she's the only one with the key. She is certainly the definition of a team player. Perhaps one of her greatest gifts is the way she treats people. Over the years, she has answered countless calls from upset parents and frustrated community members, and every single time she responds with grace, respect, patience, and kindness. Sherry has an incredible ability to make people feel heard and cared for, even during difficult moments. In those difficult situations, she brings compassion. Anchor Bay is stronger because of people like her, people who quietly show up every day, care deeply about others, and make this district feel like family. She is the heart of central office. Her positivity, support, and unwavering dedication makes our district stronger every single day. So Sherry, congratulations on being named Support Staff Employee of the Year. This recognition is incredibly well-deserved, and we are grateful for you. You're welcome. And we have the. You want to pose for a picture in the board? I'm not going to be here. Yeah.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the retiree recognition, also by Ms. Gonzalez.
Okay. Again, good evening. If I could have Ann Soroka join me. Come on down. Ann is number 76 on the teacher seniority list, and she was hired on September 4th, 2000. Come on. Welcome. I am honored to recognize Ann for her years of dedication and service to the students and families of Great Oaks Elementary, where she has taught for at least the last 13, the last 20 years. No, okay. As a fourth grade teacher, Ann has made a lasting impact far beyond the classroom. She inspired students not only academically, but also as the sponsor of the Green Team and Student Council, helping students become leaders, problem solvers, and caring members of their community. Ann's passion for the nature trail gave students hands-on opportunities to explore, discover, and develop a love for learning outside the classroom walls. She understood that some of the best lessons come from experience, curiosity, and connection with the world around us. She also consistently gave of her own time, often sacrificing her lunch hour to supervise student community service projects, showing students the importance of compassion, responsibility, and giving back to others. Ann's kindness, dedication, and passion for students have left a lasting legacy at Great Oaks Elementary. On behalf of the Board of Education and Superintendent Jankowski, thank you, Ann, for the countless lives you have touched. We wish you happiness, relaxation, and many wonderful adventures on your retirement. Congratulations. If you want to, okay, Jennifer Pratari, come on down. Jennifer is number 69 on the teacher seniority list, and she was hired on August 27th, 2001. So I'm proud to recognize Jennifer Pratari for her years of dedication, service, and commitment to our students. Jennifer began her career as an elementary teacher before transitioning into special education, where she has served in a middle school self-contained classroom with incredible compassion and devotion. Throughout her career, she has been the definition of professionalism and a true role model for fellow educators. Jennifer's caring nature and commitment to her students helped them achieve far more than they ever believed possible. She took the time to truly know each student, building meaningful connections with both students and families alike. Her patience, encouragement, and belief in every child made a lasting impact on countless families. Jennifer's devotion to helping students grow academically, socially, and emotionally will leave a legacy that will not be forgotten. On behalf of the Board of Education and Superintendent Jankowski, Thank you, Jennifer, for your years of service, compassion, and dedication. I wish you all the best in your well-earned retirement. Okay, Sandra Davis. Yay. Sandra is number 21 on the teacher seniority list. She was hired on September 8th, 2005. Sandra Davis, what an incredible career dedicated to some of our youngest learners, fellow educators, and the entire Anchor Bay elementary community. Sandra has always been described as patient, kind, supportive, and willing to help in any way she could to do what is best for the students. Those qualities are exactly what makes a truly exceptional kindergarten teacher. For countless children, Sandra was their very first school experience. And because of her care and dedication, that experience was filled with encouragement, safety, and love. She has also been a mentor to numerous student teachers, helping guide and inspire the next generation of educators with the same compassion and professionalism she brought to her own classroom every day. Sandra is the definition of a dedicated early childhood professional. Anchor Bay has also played a special role in Sandra's personal life, as it is where she met her husband, and now, just as her husband retired from Neldred Elementary, Sandra will retire from Neldred as well. A fitting and meaningful full circle moment. Yes. Sandra, thank you for the countless lives you have touched, the children you have nurtured, and the kindness you have shared throughout your career. Your impact will continue for many years to come. Congratulations on your well-deserved retirement. You will be greatly missed. Right. Okay, Bruce Matsurazzi, come on down. I hope I said it correct too. I've been practicing all day. All right. So he is number 18 on the teacher seniority list, hired on August 20th, 1997. Bruce Materazzi has had an extraordinary career filled with music, creativity, and unforgettable memories for generations of students. Bruce is not only a talented teacher, but an impeccable musician himself, able to play several instruments and inspire students through his own passion and talent. Under his direction, elementary concerts became much more than performances. They became full theatrical productions, complete with auditions, costumes, props, and elaborate stage sets. Students didn't just sing or play music. They became part of something magical. For many years, Bruce also led the 5th grade band program, helping students discover confidence, discipline, and a lifelong appreciation for music. And perhaps one of his most lasting legacies is the Ashley All-Stars School Song, which Bruce composed and is still proudly used today. That song represents school spirit, tradition, and the lasting impact Bruce has had on the Ashley community. Bruce, thank you for sharing your incredible talents, your creativity, and your dedication with so many students over the years. Your music and your influence will continue to echo through these halls for years to come. Congratulations on a well-deserved retirement. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. Okay, Sherry Gilbertson. Is she there? There you are. Okay, Sherry, come on down. Okay. Sherry is number 11 on the teacher seniority list, hired on August 28th, 1995. Today, we get to celebrate someone who has truly made a lasting impact on Ashley Elementary and on the countless students, families, and coworkers lucky enough to know her. Sherry started her career at Neldred teaching there for her first 2 years before moving to Ashley. For the past 29 years, she has walked the halls at Ashley Elementary with dedication, kindness, and a level of organization that most of us can only aspire to. If there was ever a question, a problem, or a last-minute need, she was the person everyone knew they could count on. As a first grade teacher, she helped shape the very beginning of so many children's educational journeys. First grade teachers hold a special role. They teach reading, writing, math, confidence, independence, and sometimes even how to tie shoes and navigate friendships. That takes patience, heart, and a whole lot of love. She brought all of that and more every single day. While retirement is certainly well earned, it's hard to imagine Ashley Elementary without her steady presence, organized classroom, and caring heart, and her unwavering support. Sherry, thank you for the years of dedication, the lives you've touched, the example you've set, and the love you've poured into this school community. Your impact will continue long after today because every child you helped, every teacher you supported, and every family you encouraged carries a piece of your influence forward. Congratulations on your retirement. May this next chapter be filled with good health, relaxation, adventure, and all the happiness you deserve. Ashley Elementary will always be a part of your story, and you will always be a part of Ashley's. Thank you. Congratulations. You're welcome. Okay, Leanne Smith. Yay. Leanne is number 10 on the teacher seniority list, hired on January 29th, 1993. Today, we celebrate an incredible teacher, Leanne Smith, and the impact she has made on so many students, families, and colleagues throughout her career. Leanne has the kind of teacher voice that people would literally stop in the hallway just to listen to. There was something so calm, caring, and captivating about the way she spoke to her students. And when she read a book aloud, it became an experience with different voices for every character. She made stories come alive in a way her students will never forget. Many years ago, Leanne also taught physical education at Lottie, where she was apparently just as memorable for her teaching as she was for her collection of the coolest windbreakers around. But beyond all of that, what truly defines Leanne is the way she worked tirelessly for her students and their families. She gave her heart to this profession and made every child feel important, supported, and loved. Leanne, thank you for the joy, dedication, creativity, and kindness you brought to education every single day. Your influence will continue far beyond the classroom. Congratulations on your retirement. It is so well deserved, and I will miss our early morning chats in the parking lot. Thank you. Yeah, yes, thank you. Okay, Audrey Crozier, please join me. Yeah. Audrey has been the heart of our high school community for many years. Since September 3rd, 1999, Audrey has welcomed students, staff, and families with kindness, patience, and dedication. For over 2 decades, she has been more than a secretary at the high school. Audrey has been the friendly voice on the phone, the calm in the middle of busy days, and the person who always made sure things ran smoothly behind the scenes. Students and staff have benefited from her hard work, compassion, and unwavering commitment to Anchor Bay. Retiring marks the closing of one chapter and the beginning of an exciting new one. While we will deeply miss Audrey's presence each day, we are grateful for the years of service, friendship, and care that she has given to all of us. Audrey, thank you for your years of hard work and dedication to the Anchor Bay School community. I wish you the best in your retirement. I'm going to miss you. And I appreciate all you've done to help me when I'm trying to chase down administrators at the high school. I know I could call her or Lori, and then within seconds, I get a call back. So thank you. Thank you. Yeah, if I have them for you too. You're welcome. Yep, stand up front. You can stand on this side of Ann. You can stand wherever you want. Okay. You can stand. Okay, there you go. You're good. You're good. Okay. All right. Lori Seletsky. So let's celebrate someone who has truly been the glue holding the high school front office together since January 17th, 2003. While teachers may run the classrooms, we all know the real panic starts when there is a vacancy with no substitute teacher. And that's where Audrey becomes our hero. For years, she somehow managed to find subs at 6 a.m. during snowstorms that didn't close school, flu season, COVID, and every other reason in between. Lori had the unique ability to track people down to fill vacancies when no one else could. But beyond keeping the building running, Lori has always been kind, caring, and the friendly face everyone could count on. Whether it was helping a stressed out teacher, calming a nervous student, or just offering a smile on a hectic day, she made the high school a better place. Retirement means no more early morning substitute calls, no more juggling schedules, and finally getting to ignore the phone without feeling guilty about it. Thank you, Lori, for your years of dedication, laughter, and care. You will be greatly missed. Congratulations on your well-earned retirement. You want to go stand by your phone? Okay. Alexis Metapedigan. Yay. So Alexis joined the district as a bus driver on October 16th, 2020, during the challenges of the COVID pandemic, stepping into an incredibly important role during an uncertain time. From the very beginning, she demonstrated dedication, professionalism, and a deep commitment to student safety. Alexis has had a true passion for working with special needs students and ensuring their safety during transportation each and every day. Her care, patience, and compassion gave families peace of mind, knowing their child were in such capable hands. Her dedication to student safety also led her to become a bus driver trainer, where she shared her knowledge and experience with others, helping maintain the high standards of safety and professionalism throughout the district. For many years, Alexis proudly represented Anchor Bay in the school bus rodeo, showcasing both her skill and dedication to her profession. This year, she achieved the impressive accomplishment of advancing to the state competition. Oh, yes. Alexis has always been an outstanding employee, dependable, supportive, and always willing to help wherever needed. Her positive impact on students, coworkers, and the entire district will not be forgotten. On behalf of the Board of Education and Superintendent Jankowski, thank you, Alexis, for your years of service, compassion, and dedication. I wish you all the best in your well-deserved retirement. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And our last retiree acknowledgement, Miss Muriel Hayes. Where's Muriel? Muriel is number 1 on the teacher seniority list. Yes, she is the grand poobah. On September 2nd, 1986, she began her journey in education, and what an amazing journey it has been. For decades, she has inspired students not only to create art, but to see creativity, beauty, and confidence within themselves. An elementary art teacher does so much more than teach painting, drawing, and color theory. She helped children express emotions, discover talents, and believe in their own ideas. She created a classroom where imagination was encouraged, mistakes were part of the learning, and every child felt proud of what they created. Beyond her classroom, she has been an incredible team player, the kind of coworker who steps in without being asked, who helps others succeed, and who makes difficult days easier simply by being there. Schools don't thrive because of programs or buildings alone. They thrive because of people like Muriel. She brought an easygoing spirit to every room she entered. No matter how busy the day was, she always seemed to have a smile on her face and a calm, positive energy that made everyone around her feel a little lighter. She reminded us that kindness matters, positivity spreads, and sometimes the best thing you can offer is simply your presence and support. Retirement marks the closing of one chapter, but the legacy she leaves behind will remain for years to come in the students she inspired, the coworkers she supported, and the countless lives she made brighter along the way. Muriel, thank you for your dedication since September 2nd, 1986. Thank you for sharing your talents, your kindness, your laughter, and your heart with generations of students and colleagues. Congratulations on your retirement. May this next chapter bring you the same joy and happiness you have given so many others. You will be dearly missed, fondly remembered, and always appreciated. Congratulations. Thank you. Good job. Happy retirement. Okay. We'll get a picture. Okay.
All right. Incredible. All right, moving down on the next item is board member recognition. I will be presenting that. It is on hot mic. All right, here we go. Moving down to the next item is going to be board member recognition, and I will be presenting that. I worked a couple days on mine. Mr. Green. Mr. Green started, I believe, in 2019 on the Anchor Bay School Board. And the School Board of Education would like to, with deep appreciation for your dedication, commitment, and support to the Anchor Bay community, thank you for your dedication and your commitment and everything you've done for the school district. Please come forward so we can present you with this nice plaque. And the last one before we break for a short recess for cake. The next one's going to be Student Congress Representative Recognition. I would like to present this to Madison Borg. With thanks, the Anchor Bay School Board of Education. I'd like to thank you for everything you've done. In the 6 years I've been on the board, it was great to hear great feedback from the different schools. Your dedication, not only to the updates that you gave, but just your commitment to Anchor Bay. You know, we saw our different presentations with DECA, so it's great to see how involved you're in the school district. And I'd like to wish you luck on your future. And with that, another picture, another plaque. Yes. And we are going to have a short recess. Please join us for a piece of cake, and we'll take a 15-20 minute recess. No more pictures. All right, welcome back. The next item on the agenda is going to be the 2025-2026 Special Education Department highlights. Nicole Ewert.
Okay. Good evening, Board of Education. This is probably a good opportunity to reflect and just kind of highlight some of the elements of our department that we're most proud of. And I think it comes at a very unique time when the Michigan Department of Education is unrolling an initiative to monitor least restrictive environment. And, you know, LRE in education terms are always using acronyms, and basically it's this mindset of ensuring that students with disabilities are educated in the least restrictive environment whenever possible, and that as public school districts, we are always promoting access to those settings. Maybe a better way to go through this is to have a visual. The Department of Education released this hierarchy. Basically, it's a learning continuum. And generally, what we are always trying to acknowledge is that all of our students are gen ed kids first. And only through copious amounts of data, only through carefully considered planning, do we recognize when students need more restrictive supports in order to access education the way that their non-disabled peers do. And as you can see from this hierarchy, as you go from bottom up toward the top, and as those rows narrow, there are instances where, you know, maybe you have consultation with support staff like our speech pathologists, our social workers, our teacher consultants. Progressively, you might adopt accommodations where you have an IEP that grants you various tools to help you access the curriculum in different ways. Progressively, we get into resource room where maybe you remediate the curriculum and you build and try to improve skill gaps. And you have some time out of the general education classroom. And then you see as you progressively go up, you get into specialty considerations, such as special programs. Sometimes those are in the same building, sometimes those are separate buildings. Even toward the top where you're into homebound considerations or complete change of placements entirely. So the Michigan Department of Education wants to make sure that as public school districts, that we have procedures, we have programming, we have processes to ensure we are meeting LRE requirements. And the importance of this is we rely heavily on our building lit tutors, we have instructional coaches, we have support staff gen ed and resource room teachers, and of course our principals who orchestrate this big educational ecosystem and make sure that we are following these processes. However, knowing that, the state has wanted to take this a step further. And with their monitoring initiative, what they've decided to do is kind of a two-step process. Number one is an audit of all of the state ISDs to kind of determine how is each ISD regulating and ensuring least restrictive environment. And then also something a little more unique was the state decided we are going to pick ISDs and districts and come around and do interviews. So Macomb was one of the first to volunteer for this. And all 21 districts in the county received interviews with Michigan Department of Ed representatives as well as the county. And we had to basically choose cohorts. So they wanted a blend of gen ed, special ed teachers. They wanted administrators. They also wanted support staff. And the goal was to not only review through auditing of our paperwork and our programming and procedures, but they wanted to hear from the staff themselves. What do you know about LRE? What does your district do about it? How does it influence you specifically as a staff member? And, oh, I'm sorry, Tim, actually, can you go back? One thing I do want to point out is after these interviews, there was a debriefing session where at the county level, all 21 districts were encouraged to come back together at the MISD. All 21 districts were represented, including academies, charters, even the MISD center programs. And we were, of course, reminded of approximately 755 items of state and federal compliance that we are responsible for with LRE consideration. Fortunately, I will not be going over those tonight. But I am happy to say that we had a successful audit. There were no findings for Anchor Bay specifically. But importantly for us and additionally, during this opportunity, MDE actually took time to acknowledge some district achievements and some noteworthy discoveries. I'm proud to say that Anchor Bay was acknowledged during this session. And as you can see on the PowerPoint slide, oh, I'm sorry, Tim, I got to watch my pointing. If you can go back to the previous slide, that round LRE, that is actually a coin that was distributed. I have not appraised this coin. I don't know its value, but it is a thick kind of metal coin. It's very cool, but it was just the state's acknowledgement at the time that they felt that we had creative and innovative ways to maximize LRE. And it was just a proud moment to be acknowledged by the state, but particularly so a credit to our district interviewees who did sit down with the state representatives. Two of those interviewees are here tonight. If they don't mind, I would like to briefly embarrass them. We have our first grade teacher at Naldred Elementary, Miss Rachel Hansen. And we have our middle school self-contained teacher at Middle School North, Miss Laura Prater. Thank you, ladies, very much. In your celebratory gift bag, you will receive one of those coveted LRE coins, as well as something else from us, our gratitude for participating. All of our interviewees did a tremendous job of conveying and demonstrating not only the work that they do to support kids every day, but our district initiatives and our thoughts and plans. And it was not a perfect process. Part of the interviews involved what do we want to improve on? What do we maybe not do quite as well? So there was a lot of acknowledgement of both pros and cons. But before we move off this, I did want to say it's also worth mentioning that our superintendent, Mr. Jankowski, was also acknowledged for his support at this meeting, particularly because throughout the interviews, he was routinely mentioned as someone who is supported our department initiatives and is always willing to turn over every stone and consider opportunities to promote LRE and grant us resources. So just wanted to reference that as well. Yes, for real this time, Tim. Thank you very much. Okay, so now that we've covered kind of least restrictive environment in more detail, really thought that this would be the opportunity to take a closer look at some of those programs in the kind of middle to higher part of that hierarchy, that pyramid you saw earlier. and recognize some of our specialized programs that we have in the district for unique learners. And really just at a bird's eye view and a glance, we just listed some of those here. We have an abundance of programs, starting at the preschool level. Obviously, we have general education preschool programs, but we do have specialized early childhood special ed programs. We have 6 of those sections. We have a supported kindergarten that's about 2 years old now. We're entering the 3rd year of that. That was a more innovative program where we basically have a specialized classroom that helps some of our learners who maybe aren't quite ready for the full 6-hour kindergarten day, the breakneck speed of the curriculum, the demands, and the one teacher for 20 some odd, students, that ratio. It's a tremendous program at Lighthouse Elementary that we've had a lot of success with. And again, we're going on our 3rd year of utilizing this program. We have 5 elementary self-contained programs. We call them cross-categorical because we service students with all disability levels. But for coding purposes, these are our mild cognitive impaired classrooms. Lottie Elementary has 2, Naldred has 3, and we have a variety of diverse learners in these programs. At our middle school and high school level, we have continuations of those programs so we can promote the same type of learning initiatives and objectives at our middle school and high school level. We have 2 programs at each level. We also have programs at our elementary and middle school for our emotionally impaired students. We have some students that need some of the self-contained support and regulations and resources, and we're very proud that we have those at multiple levels. And then, of course, finally, at all of our buildings, we have resource room programs. Again, those are programs where we are still promoting curriculum development, but we are just remediating skill building. So we have a copious amount of special education programming throughout the district. And before I turn it over to Nicole, these programs are tremendous for our students, and they definitely serve a need. But we are always striving when we have students in these programs to maximize least restrictive environment, even in these settings. So what was important when we met with the state was to not only acknowledge these programs, but when students are in these programs, what are we doing to ensure that kids could potentially someday exit these programs? Or while they're in these programs, what access do you have to general education opportunities and supports? So that is where I'm going to turn this over to Nicole, because we are going to brag about some of those supports and resources that have enabled that.
So it's going to get a little more exciting with a little less words and a lot more pictures on the next few slides. So go ahead, Tim. So I just want to start off by thanking all of you. I know at the last board meeting where we spoke, you had approved the continued adoption of the unique learning system curriculum. So I just included that on here again, because we truly feel as a department that this is one of the best ways that we can allow equal access to our students. With the access to this curriculum, the differentiation that it allows, the adaptive standards, the individualized supports, it allows multiple access levels for our students. And as we mentioned at the previous meeting, it does allow us the opportunity to utilize this in the general education setting as well. We've been working closely with our elective or specials teachers to help provide them with some differentiated opportunities to help adapt electives to make them more equally accessible for our students, all because of the resources that come with this program. So a big thank you to the board for supporting this initiative. We're really excited to continue to watch our students progress through it. So you've seen these pictures before, but I had to throw them in there again. But the next one should be new. So the next few slides are actually going to talk a little bit about our Peer Pal programs. I'm going to hang on this slide for a little bit while I talk about the elementary level of our preschool program, or excuse me, of our Peer Pal program. But I'm also going to touch on the other levels. This is something that we are working on assuring is accessible for all levels. And we are currently working towards developing some updated opportunities even at the preschool level for this opportunity for our students. So when we're talking about a Peer Pal program, we're talking about pairing students who are in self-contained programs with general education peers so that they have the ability to learn social skills, to promote increased social interaction, have some at the elementary level. A lot of times this looks like inclusive play. It might be like structured play with maybe a social worker or paraprofessionals, allowing support to help them work on some play-based skills. But while they're doing this, they're interacting with gen ed students and they're learning classroom skills and they're getting some exposure in the gen ed classroom. Or we're bringing students from the general education classroom into the self-contained room so that they can start building these relationships in the comfort of a classroom that they're familiar with. So these are some pictures from the Peer Pal program. The pictures on this slide are actually from the Peer Pal program at Naldred Elementary. So you can see a few different really sweet pictures here, just showing some of the play skills. There's a little picture of the girls painting nails. So they have a lot of fun in these opportunities. It's not always based around learning academics. Sometimes it's based around those play skills or just those friendship interactive skills that you may see happening at recess or at free unstructured time within a classroom. The Naldred Peer Pal program actually does an award ceremony every year. I'm sure that if any board members were interested in attending, they would love to have you. It is on June 3rd at 2:00 this year. I did attend last year. It was a really awesome opportunity. They sing songs, their peer pals go on stage with them. It's really, really fun. I pulled some statistics from last year's just to share with you how big of a program this is. They have not sent me the new stats from this year quite yet, so I didn't want to kind of give false numbers. So I'll tell you what last year's were. Last year, we had 103 students participating in the Peer Pal program at Naldred. 17 of those students were students who were in the MySci program, and 86 of them were students from the gen ed classrooms. And they would come in to classes and have fun with students, play games with students, learn musical songs with students, participate in this award ceremony with their peer pals. It's a really great opportunity. But the peer pals also are trained to properly interact and communicate with students who may have specific communication needs. Maybe they're using a different form of communication. Maybe it be picture symbols, core boards, some of those things we talked about that our ULS curriculum allows us to support. We do train the peer pal students to properly interact and be able to communicate effectively so everyone has equal access for these fun opportunities and moments so they can play games and become friends and just enjoy what we would call everyday school memories together. At the middle school level, you can go ahead and flip to the next slide. Thank you. At the middle school level, there are some fun pictures here. And actually, Ms. Prater sent these pictures. She's in the audience today, so I'll call her out. There is a heavier weight of increased inclusion at the middle school level because students have already started to build these relationships and worked on these communication skills. So a lot of times we're looking a little more at academic integration when we're working with our peer pals. So we may have students coming into an academic math class and working together with our students in the self-contained program and working on a math assignment. Working on, in some of these pictures, you're looking at like some STEM-based or some makerspace-based activities. Building social skills still. It also is a great way to support transitions. A lot of times we're building these strong friendships with our peers, and it's a great way to help if maybe we struggle transitioning from class to class, but a peer can come and walk with us. Now it's become an exciting opportunity to move to that next class. I get to walk with my friend. So just really honing into ways that we can maximize the opportunities with these peer pal interactions. A lot of planning goes into this. So props to our teachers, to our support staff, as Frank mentioned earlier, to our principals for supporting this, to our general education teachers too, for allowing us to pull students out of class sometimes and, bring students in and just make exciting groups out of these opportunities. There's thoughtful pairing, making sure that our students have a say in maybe what sort of opportunities they would like. We know that with students, especially at the middle school level, if you're not sparking an interest, you might not get a whole lot of participation. So thoughtful planning of when we're having these opportunities occur and how we're facilitating them is very important. Structured training again, so our students who are peer pals from the elementary level up, even if maybe they've been trained by a social worker at the elementary level, they will be going through training again with teachers and with support staff to make sure they really know the students that they're going to be becoming friends with and making sure that they know how to make them feel comfortable and welcomed and included. And again, differentiated supports. How can we make sure it meets the needs of all of our learners? At the high school level, which is our next slide, I really love these pictures because they've done some really cool things this year at the high school. I think my most exciting observation when I speak with the high school staff or when I get to go over and participate or observe some of these opportunities is how well they'll utilize student strengths. We all know that our high school is broken into students with their pathways, right? We have these CTE opportunities and we have all the pathways that students can declare. We make sure that our students within the self-contained classroom have the same opportunities to try the CTE opportunities and different classes within the pathways, and we'll utilize Peer Pal opportunities for that. So you'll see some things here that we might have honed in on some strengths and some interests. They're selling cotton candy in one of the pictures. There looks like there's a pizza party in one. And there was a little really cool puzzle piece on the bottom right that I really thought was cool, just talking about being unique and like what makes you special. So there's some really great opportunities and the students are always very excited to share, introduce us to their peer pal and share what they're working on and what they're doing. The picture on the left is really great. That was for our senior send-off. So getting our peers involved in the senior send-off and acknowledging, these are our seniors, they're graduating. Like, let's do something really great and let's acknowledge them. We're also able to integrate the curriculum. Using the ULS curriculum, we are able to do a lot because of that transition piece. There's a lot of really cool opportunities that we can pull into our Peer Pal opportunities. Staff collaboration is a huge one. There's a lot of wonderful staff over at the high school that are constantly working with our self-contained teachers and inviting them in and coming up with new creative ways that we can be involved. Student feedback and input is always very important. We always really care about the learner, what they need, what they're interested in, and what they're looking for. So as students get older, we know they tend to share more and they tend to have more input. So at the high school level, we get to hear a lot, and it's always exciting to hear that feedback. So that's a little bit about our high school Peer Pal program. So I'm going to pass it back over to Frank, and he's going to talk a little bit about some other opportunities we have outside of Peer Pals.
I think as time goes on, you get enough feedback, whether it's from staff, students, parents, and you start looking for even more innovative ways of using the resources at your disposal. And the photo that you see now was really an opportunity, and Ms. Prater in our audience will give credit where it's due here. Started thinking about not only do our Peer Pals help support our students, not only do our students learn and interact and grow because of those experiences, but our students have the capacity for leadership, and we have opportunities to empower them as well. And we have found opportunities to kind of do a little mentorship program with some of our secondary students where we travel to elementary buildings and work with general education students. And there are a variety of activities that our kids do together. They are mostly fun and social activities. We try not to get too bogged down for the mentorship opportunities with the academics, but we saw tremendous progress with some of our kiddos when they have the opportunity to be models for some of the younger peers. So that was a very unique experience this year, and we will look to continue and maybe even expand upon that for next year. So that was a very unique experience. We're also very proud of, again, feedback that we receive about, what other course offerings can we expand to make sure that our students have meaningful access to the programming that our general ed students do. So making sure that, our Makerspace program and some of these really highly sought after electives are available to our kids. And sometimes that involves making them adaptive courses just to make sure that they're a little more digestible and age and appropriate for our kiddos. And then finding ways to involve Peer Pals to make sure that they, of course, get the perfect blend of, their Peer Pal population, working with them and supporting them through these initiatives.
That's the last switch here. All right, so I'm just going to talk really briefly about a few of the, I would call them CTE level classes that we're offering to our self-contained classes at the high school. And we do have hopes and dreams to continue broadening these opportunities, but we've had a really great outcome with the adaptive hospitality class that has been offered. And I have some really fun pictures here. Students actually participated in a hospitality pro start boot camp this year where they got to design and develop a food truck and present a proposal with the support of the hospitality team over there. What's really great about this class is it prepares our students for entry-level roles in hospitality. So they get adaptive instruction and hands-on practice with some really great hospitality opportunities. They work on teamwork skills, punctuality, problem solving, following routines, and self-advocacy. Speaking with the self-contained teachers over at the high school, they'll talk to you about like at the beginning of the class, what it was like, just kind of getting to know like kitchen safety basics, right? And now we're here at the end of the school year and we have students calling out the teachers if they're not saying like behind you, you know, in the kitchen like they should be. So it's really great to know that like they're building some really great skills that can be used in future vocational opportunities as well because of the option that this class has brought on. So that was really great. Another class that has been a big hit is our adaptive graphic arts class. This class, they have gotten very creative and they've honed in on a lot of different skills and interests with students. It does basically focus on foundational graphic art skills, but the teacher who has been working with the students at the high school has realized a lot of the pieces of the self-contained classroom we could tap into graphic art opportunities to help promote and to help, create some exciting, functional, and interesting objects for students. So you'll see in the bottom right, everyone got to make a personalized water bottle with a graphic of their choosing. That was one of their big projects that they enjoyed doing. But they have a very functional approach to this class because they also run something that is called the TARS Cafe. And if you have not made it to the TARS Cafe on a Friday morning, you can always reach out to me to ask for information because I frequent the TARS Cafe. It is in the self-contained classroom every Friday morning. They run a coffee shop and they make lattes, they make teas, they make all sorts of different awesome coffee. It's like going to Starbucks, sometimes even better because they know my favorites over there. They had their closing last Friday, so I had to make a trip. But the TARS Cafe is really exciting for the students. And the next slide is going to show a little bit more about it. But what you'll see on the next slide, actually everything on this slide was created in the adapted graphics arts class. So when you get a drink from the TARS Cafe, you get a really cool sticker on your cup. The students designed that sticker. They made it in graphic arts. They printed it there. They love to stick those on the cups and give them to you. You can see some of the baristas, they're wearing aprons. They also made those and printed them through the graphic arts class. They have t-shirts that they will wear. And then they took it a step further and they worked with the digital media teacher and they've made a commercial. And these are my favorite. They make seasonal commercials. Some of the high school administrators make cameo appearances in these commercials, but I just included their basic commercial for you all to watch because I just think it is pretty impressive. So we'll play that really quick if the sound will work for us.
Keep an eye out for the TAR Cafe order sheet that will be placed in your mailbox every Monday. There are many delicious options available. Turn your orders into Ms. McCollum's mailbox by the end of the day on Thursday. Your delicious beverage will be hand delivered every Friday by Smiling TARS Cafe staff member.
So Mrs. McCollum or Mrs. Williams, when they reopen in the fall, will gladly send order forms if anyone needs one. That might have been my coffee on the screen, you're right. But they're very generous with their flavors. It's great. And they have sugar-free. But what's really great about the coffee cart is they work on business skills. That's the whole purpose of the TARS Cafe. So the students have to apply, they interview, they train, they have a management role, they manage the funds, they go through food safety training, they work on customer service, they have to find different recipes and learn how to make them. It's all student led and the teachers really just step back and let the students run it. delivering them. They have to navigate the entire high school, deliver and meet teachers they maybe have not worked with before. And then the tie into the graphic arts and videography is really awesome. So just a few things we wanted to highlight that we don't always get to share, and it's kind of fun at the end of the year to capture it and share it with you all. So we're gonna end our long chat with Frank's gonna give you just a little summary of a couple partnerships that we're excited to still have within our department.
Should have never ended this with this slide after that slide. This is far less entertaining, but it really is just a continuation of what Nicole was talking about. In addition to employment skills, education and training, and independent living, we are looking to improve functional independence with our students. And that's through partnerships within the district. That's through partnerships outside of the district. And we have a variety of community-based instruction opportunities where our kiddos at all levels, but particularly our high school, have opportunities where we have weekly field trips. And these are kind of job site opportunities with our teachers, with our paraprofessionals. We have had opportunities to work with CVS in the past, Kroger, Subway, currently working with Always Care, our Feed the Bay program here in the district, East Harbor. We worked with the Senior Center at one time. So this really is our opportunity to kind of expand and grow just beyond kind of, you know, our grouping here in the district, and make sure that our kids have the opportunity to also expand and get their foot out in that post-secondary life, and ensure that they have opportunities beyond what we can offer here. So whether that's Michigan Rehabilitative Services and a variety of the other programs that we work with closely. We're also going to be working to develop a parental advisory committee in our district. And this was something that came up from feedback from our last board session. We clearly value input and we feel like there's a lot more that we can tap into and explore that we haven't considered. And we think our parent population is really the great source that we have not yet tapped into quite as much. So again, more to come, and we hope to keep expanding, and we have something new to share with you next year as well. So thank you. Any questions for us?
I do have a quick question. Two questions, but I think you already answered one. So right now, currently, we do not have a parent advisory committee right now, but we are working on a parent advisory committee.
Correct. So we did follow up prior to our last board meeting to selective parents who had shared concerns, letting them know that we're working on developing one, sharing a proposed first date. We still have more follow-up to do to spread that further, but we have spoken to particular parents who brought that to our attention already.
Okay.
So it's formed. We've not had our first meeting yet.
Sure. Great.
I did want to clarify, we did have a PAC rep the previous years. Mr. Melvin Bailey, who works in Middle School South, was our PAC rep for quite some time. After Mr. Bailey stepped aside, we did hire Ms. Bajoka, or hire, I should say. We were graciously working with Ms. Bajoka, who is one of our parents and paras within our self-contained program. Once she decided to step aside, we are now looking to kind of fill that vacancy and build this program again. That is one individual that works with the district, but this would be more of an actual committee where we are hoping to bring in more than just kind of one parent to work with us and be a bridge with the county.
Okay. And then my second question is, at the assembly that you guys attended, is there anything that other school districts offer for special education that Anchor Bay does not offer now? And is it something that we should look into offering in the future?
That's a great question. I will say at the debrief, there was not a whole lot of individual districts having opportunities to share what they are doing in particular. We do get a chance to speak with other directors and supervisors throughout the county when we attend McCase meetings for special education administrators. So we're constantly kind of listening for that feedback, what's working, what's not working. Right now, there's definitely a focus at the ISD level for preschool through second grade for instruction, for LRE opportunities. We did represent, Anchor Bay did join an ISD committee to help talk through some of those countywide concerns. Myself and one of our teacher consultants was on that committee for curriculum. And then we also sent another staff member that attended the committee for programming and services. So we're still affiliated with that. We're hoping to hear more from the county through that process. But unfortunately, there wasn't a whole lot of individual ideas shared. At the debrief, it was more of the state debriefing on what their findings were or were not.
The adopting the curriculum was probably the big one over the last year or so. That was really our biggest initiative. Now that we have that, we are expanding it. The last time we were here, we talked about add-ons and supplements. We talked about increasing our tech so we have appropriate access and use. I think probably a focus too is going to come down to now our preschool supports. And we feel like we've expanded the LRE considerations and the peer pals for those levels, this K-12, but we really want to now focus a little more on preschool as well. So.
Great. Any other questions?
How long has our Peer Pals programs been going on?
I would say we have had peer pals for several years now. It probably started more prevalently with the elementaries and then progressively expanded.
Okay.
But we've always had student cadets, and we've had a variety of iterations of this, working with Sherry Kenward and our CTE department. So this was really over the last couple of years as we've just become a little more unified, especially with the training of students and what the expectations are.
Okay.
So that part of that was we work very closely with our ISD consultants and try to ask them, can you take a look at what we're doing? How would you improve this? There are a variety of trainings Mr. Jankowski is always willing to send us to, and we get a lot of great ideas to help bolster these programs.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, folks.
Thank you. Moving down the agenda. Superintendent update.
Okay, just to follow up, again, most of this will be about the bond. We are, as I've said for a couple of years, we are kind of climbing the mountain of work and all that. We will have over the next 2 years, we're going to have the most work that we'll probably see at any point. Every single building is going to have some type of construction or updates and so on. So I'm just going to run through. These are the ones that over the last 3 board meetings, the board has approved some of these projects and they've all started in some level. First one here is Ashley. If you've been by Ashley, this is where it's just south of the main entrance. You can see the main entrance there to the right. This will be where the new media center and a student support area will be. And right now what they're working on is getting the roof ready so that when they start pouring the foundation for that area. This has been just every time you go by there, you're like, oh, okay. It's been a huge change from the previous few days because they're just really making great progress on it. Next slide. This is right now, this is where the addition will be of the classrooms at the south end. Right now we are waiting because they're doing, can't really see it on there, but there's 3 plate tests that are going on where they're just doing soil testing, and that'll take place basically over the next 2 to 3 weeks, and then we'll get the results. And they just want to make sure that everything is solid before they go in and do the foundation for that wing. Next slide. This is just another view from the building, top of the building there, and you can kind of see how much it encompasses. This will end up being a 10 classroom addition. Next slide. And it looks somewhat the same. This is actually Naldret. They are actually in the process of pouring the foundation, as you can see where we'll attach to the building. Next slide. They are, because of it's Michigan, weather is always a challenge. So rain has been an issue in some regards. But they're making progress on this as well. It has become the highlight. If you are there when kids are in recess, everybody races to get to the top of the slide so they can see over the fencing to see what they are doing. It's been like a field trip. All the teachers are like, it's like having a field trip in your own backyard. Next slide. And if you haven't been by South, they're really making progress on, this will be the new main office area. You can see the seal's been in place. This will be the awning that will go over the new entryway. And so this is the wing that kind of sticks out between the south and the north parking lot. And they've been adding windows. You can see with the plywood, larger windows. So now instead of the office, this is we're doing in many of our buildings now. Instead of being set back, they'll be able to see both parking lots as well. And next slide, take it inside. You can see the steel structure that's there. That will be the new secure entryway. That'll be inside that kind of steel where the 3 posts are that are attached to the wall. Next slide. It was great going there today. I got to see that they're actually poured the footings. This is something we've been waiting for. All the steel is in place. So now all the supports are going in. Next slide. And again, just another angle. You can see to the right, that opening is where the main entrance will be. This will be the main office side. The other side of the next slide. Again, just a close-up view of that. If you look on the right, will be the main entryway hallway. To the right will be counseling. To the left will be the main office area. Next slide. Also, on top of that, we're looking for whatever we can do in order to pull it ahead so that we can stay on progress. The office area is slated to be done in the fall. And so that's, as they're working with that, this is a pull ahead area for, used to be because the school was the old high school. There were some locker rooms that were not being used. This will now be a wrestling and cheer area that we kind of created a weight room out of surplus weight equipment that we had from the high school. And then this will be an actual designated area for wrestling and for cheer out of the second locker room that they have there. Next slide. This is what it looks like inside because they just took out, as they're taking out the walls and they're opening up the area. It's all supports right now. The plan is that the steel will start going in over the next 2 weeks. And then our basic timeline, as always, is before July 4th, we want to have all demolition done. And then after that, then it starts to put everything back into place. And you can see we're already starting to put stuff away back in at the main office area. And so this is still under demolition. So we're just moving like groups around so that they can really try and get ahead of schedule. Because we know inevitably you'll get a hiccup here or there. And we just want to make sure that we're maximizing our time on the front end. Next slide. Same thing. This is actually in what we used to call the CTE wing, where the restaurant, the horticulture classes, our food service is actually housed at the end of the hallway. So as part of that, there's basically in a lot of the building, they're just doing updates. So this is painting. They've painted the trim, trying to make it more consistent. This trim used to be kind of a greenish blue. And now to make everything consistent, so we're going with black trim just to kind of carry it out throughout the entire building. So we're actually bringing those groups in before, because that's always been a challenge that it's the last second things. And the contractors, we've been cognizant of, hey, you can get started now, but we're not billing us if something gets ding. And they're like, nope, that's fine. We know we have people available now. Let's get them in. And then we'll just be ahead of it, because these contractors are also working in other districts, and it's always a crunch in the last few weeks before school starts. Next slide. This is actually the old, at the old Shoreliner kitchen, which we are now getting ready as part of the CTE expansion down into middle school. This will become a feeder program. So what they're doing is patching in areas in order to kind of take out all the equipment that they had, because it's not going to be commercial, like restaurant, like level equipment. It'll be kind of between your residential and commercial. So then they're preparing all of those areas. So they're actually filling in the areas in the floor where they had to fix plumbing and move some fixtures and so on. Next slide shows you. So they're basically pouring the concrete, trucking it inside. They're also working on some of the brickwork on the outside as well. Next slide. And as if we didn't have enough, we are starting to work on the restrooms, which this is the one thing when we spoke to kids, they're like, we just need new bathrooms. So this is right when you walk in the main entrance now across from the office. This is the boys' restroom. So they've kind of taken out all the fixtures. And then the next slide, this is the girls' restroom on the other side of the wall where they're taking out the old dividers and all that in order to bring things up to code and just really update all of that. So the floors will be redone with an epoxy, and then there will be different tile and so on. And then we'll have new fixtures that go in order to update these and make sure all the plumbing works and everything, because most of this is original. Next slide. As if we don't have enough of our construction, if you recall last year, the board approved an easement for part of it's an extension of the Macomb Orchard Trail. And so this is out by south by the tennis courts. They're working on that as well. This will also be done over the summer. Next slide. And you can see it goes all the way back to where there's an opening onto the road there. This is also part of our Safe Routes to School initiative. Although the grant money's not going there, it still feeds into that. So when this is connected, people will be able to ride all the way from the park on the water and all the way through to Rochester as part of the whole Macomb Orchard Trail. And more kids will be able to ride bikes to school as part of this if they so chose. Next slide. And again, we're going back to the high school here where we, as part of the energy bond, we talked about solar panels and all of that. So all of that is arriving at site, and they will begin immediately after the last day of school. Next slide. And you can see all the solar panels are arriving. They're getting prepared. That will go up on they have all the approvals from DTE, so we can tie in, so we can feed back into the system. And this will offset quite a bit of our electricity, which has been a good thing because since we approved this last year, if you probably see this at home, your electricity rates have probably gone pretty quite a bit. I think there was when we locked in like the first solar rates, it was like 15 cents a kilowatt hour. Now the average is about 19 cents. So this will help us kind of maintain that and keep us hopefully about 25% under the cost that everybody else is paying. Next slide. And we have other things that have approved that will not start until after. So if you remember the last two board meetings, we approved it'll be boiler replacement at McCott's, McDonald, Great Oaks, North, South, Ashley, and Naldret. We're also wrapping up the Filter First grant. That's the bottle fill stations that we had gotten the grant from the state. We are also working on LED lighting updates throughout the district, which when it's all completed, should lower our costs as well, combined with the solar project. It should save us $2 million over the long haul. Next slide. And just moving on from the bond, we did have a couple staff members that were award winners since we last met. One was Chris Deegan from South, won Walt Disney World's best spring break. So she was part of 15 teachers that each were awarded $10,000, got to go to the Magic Kingdom where they were celebrated based on their accomplishments and so on. Also, we had Melissa Van Hull from Ashley was awarded the Technology Administrator of the Year by Communications with Design. That they also do. They work with many districts throughout the state, most of them on the west side. And she was nominated by Kevin Grammond and was also awarded $1,000 with that she can use any way that she would like. And that concludes my presentation. Any questions?
I have a question. Did something in particular prompt the concerns at Ashley that led to the plate testing for the soil?
Well, they always do boring, like dozens of our engineering does it ahead of time. And then when they got in there and they start doing the actual excavation, they're like, oh, well, we better be safe than sorry. So then they'll do the testing. So then they're focusing on Naldret. They'll do that. And then basically the hope is if they don't move, then they should be okay. If not, then we have to do either piers that will go tie into the foundation, or they'll look at something depending on whatever the results of the testing are.
Like, do we have an idea of like what the worst case scenario is in terms of?
Yeah, well,
potential
worst
costs?
case scenario is that they would have to do some greater excavation and bring in other film material in order to offset that. So there's just the three areas that you saw that they're kind of worried about that are closer to where the drain that runs by there. It's the stream that's at the south end. And so they'll do the testing on that, and then we'll know, and then they'll basically the guess is based off of what they have now that it might be the helical piers that they'll put in, that you kind of drill them in, for lack of a better term, and then that should be enough. You just have to go down further. So that'll avoid the whole having to excavate and bring other things in, but it really depends on what the final results of that test is.
And they don't, like, knowing that the creek was there before we did all this, like they don't test for that kind of stuff before.
Well, we do. They do. If you are around the district, you will see all these bore holes that they do and it's always depending on the amount of square foot. They have a certain number that they do, and they spread them out, and they have to be a certain distance, and it didn't come back on any of that from the engineering. And that's a separate group that does that. And then, so it's really not until you actually start digging that you come across some of these things.
So who's doing the plate testing? Is it like an independent third party, or?
Yeah, so the plate testing will be an engineering company that will do that. It's Spalding de Decker.
Okay.
I have a couple quick questions also. At the high school pictures, I noticed that the lot you're using is the lot that the band uses for summer band practice and things like
No,
that.
it's actually outside of that.
Okay, all right. And then a follow-up question to that. The last time that we used the lot for storage for the roof, there was some damage done to the asphalt. Is the contractor responsible for the repair of that damage if damage does happen, or is that?
Yes, they won't be the heavy equipment that they have. So they won't be using that, and we're also avoiding that lot kind of with that in mind. So if tomorrow you'll probably see, if you park in that lot, it's actually closer to it's to the north, but it's in front of that lot. And part of it too is that's our parking for all of our spring sports.
Right.
And so we're avoiding all of that, but we put up temporary fencing in order to kind of secure that.
Thank you.
My question was just at South with the bathroom renovation. So I know you probably can't do them all in this moment, but are all the bathrooms going to be?
All the bathrooms will be done. Yeah. So we're starting, basically what we'll do is we'll do one, and then when that's done, then we'll move on to the next one and just keep rotating through. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is hearing from the public, and I did not receive any. Moving on. The next item is going to be the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are of recurring nature and are voted on as a single item. Any board member may request an item be removed without a vote of the board, and it will be discussed and voted upon individually. It's recommended that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda minutes and personnel report. I would entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion by Ms. Knox, supported by Mr. Covert. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
I have a question on the personnel report, Phil. It looks like there was 3 teachers that are participating in that summer enrichment program.
Mhm.
I was expecting more based on the number of students that were going to be in that. Is that, like, did we just not have teachers that wanted to participate?
No,
or-
there should be more. We have quite a few.
We have more coming?
That will be a part
Okay.
of it.
That's not a final number then?
No.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Can I call the roll, please?
Okay, Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Covert,
Yes. Mr. Sunnyberger,
Yes.
Mr. Vinatelli is yes, Ms. Berkmeyer.
Yes.
Mr. Powers. Yes. Mr. Richards.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Moving on to new business. First time on new business, the MISD budget resolution. At the April 2026 annual meeting of the Macomb County School Boards, the MISD budget was unanimously approved. Under the new ISD legislation, the general fund operating budget must be approved by each individual board. The deadline for this resolution is June 1st, 2026. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve or not approve the MISD budget resolution as presented. I would entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Ms. Knox, supported by Mr. Powers. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
Yes, Ms. Berkmeyer, didn't you attend that? Can you give us your findings, please?
Yep, I attended that meeting, took a lot of notes that I'm trying to remember what they meant at the moment. So I'll just kind of run through kind of just some random facts and figures of things that I just found either interesting that I wrote down. They kind of give, if you haven't been to that meeting before, they give a very broad it's not too broad, it's pretty good overview of the different things that the ISD offers throughout the county. It's actually kind of interesting if you're unaware to attend it in that sense. And then also kind of a little bit of like a state of the ISD sort of synopsis in the sense of like, you know, how many kids we serve and what they're doing and different things in different directions that they go. So, you know, one thing, you know, in Macomb County, about 50% of students receive free and reduced lunch, like overall in the county. Anchor Bay is actually about the third lowest in the county with about like 25% of that in comparison. There's like 251 CTE programs across the county. They obviously help support the Macomb College dual enrollment. And something that's newer going on through the ISD, Macomb County was selected one of 3 counties in the state to have the Mira Lab, which is hosting and housing, manufacturing and engineering education. It's like a reimagined program for middle school level. And so they have a building on Millar Road that they will be training teachers at and setting up teachers to be able to offer that in the county. There are 292 GSRP classrooms in the whole county. And then the ISD also supports the International Academy of Macomb somewhat, early middle college program. Focuses more recently countywide have been on literacy, as we know, and then also chronic absenteeism. Maybe something not as problematic for Anchor Bay as maybe other districts, but chronic absenteeism ranks around like 32% currently. A little bit eye-opening number to me. The special ed programs, they service 20,000 students from ages 3 to 26. About 15% of the Macomb County school population has an IEP overall. And about 77% of students with IEPs graduate countywide. And then kind of a number in comparison, and I wish I would have kept my notes from last year, but it keeps increasing, but 1 in 31 kids in the United States at this point has some level of autism, which and 4 times more prevalent in boys for, you know, probably a multitude of reasons. But, you know, that's obviously just a number that keeps increasing for whatever reason. which obviously just spokes the ISD and then kind of trickles down to all the districts as well to kind of adapt services and such. So, I know last year, I want to say that number was a little bit bigger. It wasn't a 1 in 31. It's gone up. So, and they did, to the presentation that we had tonight, there was also discussion on the least restrictive environment, kind of audit that had been going on, from May 11th to 14th. And overall, it was kind of just said that the thought was there's too many children in center-based programs and they should be more, pushed towards general ed population overall, not like necessarily a specific criticism to Macomb County, but that's kind of what the audit was focusing on. And so the ISD obviously services and runs those center programs. And if a center program is where the ISD hires the staff and maintains the program versus like a local program, like we kind of just got a presentation on where we hire those staff and we run those classrooms ourselves. And then the other discussion was on the early childhood. I think Nicole kind of mentioned early childhood K-2 special education project where there's 4 different action teams. They are listening and trying to assist districts regarding, a lot of concerns. And it was actually brought up by some of the board members that were there regarding, just student behaviors, especially at the younger ages that are entering the districts. And so they have action teams regarding autism, behavior intervention, continuum of services, and curriculum and instruction. So they are trying to assist and kind of work together across the county to kind of, improve resources and assistance to the districts for those things. Let's see. Another piece as well that was kind of brought up was that the ISD, in talking about like least restrictive environments and such, they actually lost a $1 million lawsuit for not secluding a student. Kind of interesting and not kind of typically what you might hear or expect, but so there are a lot of eyes on the special ed population in the state. And then, they kind of go through too, like the ISD, if you don't realize, also kind of services, information, and technology as well. Costs that they cover somewhat for the district. Sometimes there are charges where we like pay back towards the district. Just to maintain things like, for example, like Power School is like provided across the county and stuff. And the ISD pays a portion of that for us, and we pay a piece of that as well. They run payroll assistance as well. And if you had heard of the larger Power School data breach that happened in the last year or so, one thing that they're pretty proud of is Macomb County was not breached because we have a lot of additional security measures in their IT structure. So that was another piece. And then flip to my budget notes. Yeah, and then they were also just kind of going across the board with the budget, which we've heard from Mr. Jankowski as well, but at the time of that meeting, all 3 proposals were fairly consistent with about $250 per pupil estimated. One thing particularly for the ISD that really can cut into their budget is, more recently is the cost of diesel is up 70% from just a year ago. And for the ISD traversing the entire county and back multiple times a day, that is a huge expense that they have to account for. Another thing that just to keep in mind is, the special ed enhancement millage in it's actually already, time flies, but it's already 6 years in of that 10-year millage. And for me, that went really fast. It just seems like that was just happened, but they're already in 6 of the 10 years. So that's something on the ISD's radar as well, that they will have to decide when to go for a renewal. Last time it was passed in a February presidential primary. So they're thinking they may also need or go for Hadley override at the same time, potentially. In the past, they've foregone some of that just because it's a very difficult endeavor for them to do countywide. So that was kind of the bulk of what I can recall from the notes. They also kind of talked about at the time upcoming legislation and things locally to Michigan. You know, with some of the budget amendments that were going on, but if you want, I could tell you about those at another time, but I won't get into that in the moment. But overall, you know, like I said, I would really encourage anyone else to go, just because you do get a really good overview of everything that the ISD offers. And some of it's interesting sometimes just to look at the stats across the board and just kind of realize where the county is as a whole and see where Anchor Bay falls, but and just see kind of what's going on all over.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right. Any other questions? All right, call the roll, please.
That would be Ms. Knox,
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Powers. Yes. Mr. Vinatelli is a yes. Ms. Brookmeyer,
Yes.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Covert,
Yes.
Mr. Sunnyberger.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great. Thanks, Ms. Brookmeyer, for also attending. It's going to be, I don't know, hard to get a replacement to go, so maybe next year. All right, moving on. Next item on the agenda is policy first reading. Let me see here. Policy first reading. Miller Johnson went over some policy updates. Update 22.01, policy 2003, educational records. Update 2202, policy 2004, extracurricular activities. Update 22.03, policy 2006 for behavior. Update 22.04, policy 3003 for instructional. Update for 22.05, policy 5003 for purchasing. Update 22.07, policy 7001 for goal. Update 2208, policy 7008 for advertising. And update 22.09, policy 8003 for website and digital content. The recommendation is that the Board of Education review the suggested policy updates for the first reading. That's just a first reading for that. All right, and moving on for the next item is going to be field trips. The first field trip I have is for DECA Emerging Leaders Summit. Student President Vivian Jane, thank you. We'll be traveling to Tysons, Virginia, July 11th through the 13th, 2026 for the DECA Emerging Leaders Summit. The recommended action is that the Board of Education approve the DECA President travel for the DECA Emerging Summit on July 11th to the 13th for Tysons, Virginia. I would like to entertain a motion to that effect.
I'll make the motion.
Support.
All right, motion by Ms. Knox, supported by Mr. Colbert. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
On the submission request form, who's going with Mr. Jane?
So this is part of his, since he's now president, so he will travel with the rest of the officers, and then it's actually the DECA leadership will actually sponsor them.
I believe Mr. Yono mentioned that
Yes.
last time. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Are we getting any airline miles with all this DECA travel?
Right? You're not kidding. They are flying. All right. Any other questions? No. Call the roll, please.
Okay. Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Covert,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Sunnyberger,
Yes.
Mr. Ventilla is yes, Ms. Brookmeyer,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, next field trip is band camp. Marching band camp 2026 will be held at Central Michigan University, July 26th through July 31st, 2026. They will have 130 students with 20 chaperones. The recommended action is the Board of Education approve the marching band camp at CMU, July 26th to 31st, 2026, as presented. I would entertain a motion to that effect.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
All right. Motion by Mr. Sunnyberger, supported by Ms. Knox. Any comments, questions, concerns? Hearing none. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Sunnyberger,
Yes.
Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Covert,
Yes.
Mr. Ventilla is a yes, Ms. Brookmeyer, Mr. Powers,
Yes.
motion passes.
Sorry. Out of order here, so I'll open it. All right, next item on the agenda is the MHSAA 2026-2027 membership resolution. Annually, the district approves the Michigan High School Athletic Association membership resolution for middle and high school athletes, according to the Michigan Attorney General opinion for number 4795 of 1977. Any local board of education which desires to voluntarily join the MHSAA by adopting the rules of the association and agreeing to enforce those rules with respect to schools. The recommended action is that the Board of Education approve the MHSAA membership resolution for the 2026-2027 school year. I would entertain a motion to that effect.
I'll motion.
Support.
All right, motion by Mr. Sunnyberger, supported by Mr. Covert. Any comments, questions, concerns?
I just know in previous years, we've always gone back and forth, but in the end, that's what's best for our students, so that they're able to play other MHSAA schools, but we're not really a fan.
I would agree with that. And this is the only association that we're able to.
Yes, it's the only one.
Yeah, we go over this every year.
Right.
So.
Maybe a new association can come to town, right?
Mhm.
All right. Any other questions? Concerns? Call the roll, please.
All right. Mr. Sunnyberger,
Yes.
Mr. Covert,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Ms. Brookmeyer, Mr. Ventilla is yes, Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Richards,
No.
motion passes.
All right. Next item on the agenda is closed session. The Board of Education would like to move into closed session pursuant to Open Meetings Act 8C, collective bargaining strategy, and pursuant to Section 8(1)B of the Open Meetings Act to review a student reinstatement petition. I would like to entertain a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
Mr. Covert, second by Ms. Knox. All in favor?
I think we have
Aye.
to
Okay.
take a roll.
All right.
for that.
All right, call the roll.
Dennis. We asked for any conversation.
Oh, yes, thank you. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
Okay.
Call the roll.
Mr. Covert,
Yes.
Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Venatelli is yes, Mr. Richards,
Yes.
okay, Mr. Sunnyberger,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Ms. Brookmeyer. Motion passes.
All right.
It is now 9:13 PM. Go in closed session.
Come back at 10:31 PM from closed session. Would someone like to make a motion to come back out of closed session?
So moved.
Support.
All right. Motion by Ms. Knox. Supported by Mr. Covert. Call the roll, please.
Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Covert,
Yes.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Sunnyberger,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Ms. Berkmeyer, Mr. Vinatelli is a yes, the motion passes.
All right, the next item on the agenda is going to be approving the closed session minutes. Would anyone like to entertain a motion to approve the closed session minutes?
So move.
Support. Motion by Mr. Powers, supported by Mr. Covert. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Any discussion on that? Okay, call the roll.
Okay, Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Covert,
Yes.
Ms. Knox.
Yes.
Mr. Sunnyberger,
Yes.
Ms. Berkmeyer, Mr. Vinatelli is a yes, Mr. Richards,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, moving on, we also now have a student reinstatement. Would anyone like to entertain a motion?
I would like to make a motion that the Board of Education adopt the recommendation of the Reinstatement Committee and deny the reinstatement of a student whose identity is known to the board. The student can apply for reinstatement after 180 school days.
I'll support.
Support by Mr. Colbert. Any discussion, any concerns? Okay, hearing none, call the roll, please.
Ms. Knox,
Yes.
Mr. Covert,
Yes.
Mr. Sunnyberger,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Ms. Berkmeyer, Mr. Vinatelli is a yes, Mr. Richards,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay. Moving on, next item is going to be points of pride. Mr. Sunnyberger?
I'd like to talk for a minute about one of the items in the Republican House budget. We talked about it last meeting. The one that takes away 20% of the school's discretionary spending for a laundry list of things, including DEI and trans people in sports and pronoun use. Mr. Vinatelli commented on that last meeting, and he inspired me to give a differing opinion. I don't think this kind of social policy should exist in any budget. I welcome discussion on any or all of these topics, and I think they should be debated and through our community, and we should listen to everybody. Honest debate is healthy and productive, but threatening me with 20% budget reduction, I don't understand how that helps me reduce class sizes or put more tutors in schools or improve reading scores. It just doesn't. If this is a real proposal, it's misguided. I hear we need to protect girls with this proposal, that it's unsafe for trans girls to participate in girls' sports. That's a great discussion to have outside of a budget. But if this is true, how come we let girls wrestle boys? I don't understand. I've also heard kids learn best when adults meet them where they are, and that we should form real relationships with our students. If that's true, why does this budget item limit me to meet kids where they are only if they are straight, white, and Christian? If this proposal is not serious, but merely political gamesmanship, then shame on the Michigan House. And for a little bit of evidence, I was at Lansing last Wednesday, and I sat in on a education roundtable. And I had the same discussion with the Republican member on this roundtable, and he pushed back. And I asked him for a definition of DEI, and his response was, "I know it when I see it." So we had a special education presentation. I don't know how many times I heard the word inclusion. Could that be 20% of my budget gone because of my special ed programs include everybody? I don't know. It's way up in the air. That's why it shouldn't be in the budget. We wonder about teacher shortages. We play these social issue games all the time. We're still arguing about litter boxes and groomings and pronouns, stuff that's completely ridiculous. And we're arguing about it. And this kind of proposal in a budget just continues that. I'd like to see discussion. I'd be happy to discuss these issues with anybody, but I don't think it belongs in a budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sunnyberger. Mr. Colbert?
Nothing for me tonight, other than to say congratulations to everyone who was awarded and recognized tonight. As well as those that were retiring. There were a lot of names that I had forgotten and jogged my memory and transported me to another place in time, which was weird. I was not expecting that tonight. So congratulations to everybody who's put their time in, ready to relax, and congratulations to Sherry as well and everyone else that was recognized tonight. So that's it for me.
Thank you. Mr. Powers?
Yeah, first of all, congratulations to all of our retirees, wishing them much success and a healthy and happy retirement. Congratulations to whoever number 2 is on the seniority list for the teachers, because I have a feeling they've been waiting for that top spot to open up for quite some time. So I hope they do whatever they want with that number 1 spot. Sherry, congratulations. That's, you also help us as board members, and you do a phenomenal job, and you never complain when I ask for stuff that you remind me that I already have, or when I ask to be reminded about meetings that don't exist, because I don't like Outlook's calendar. So I appreciate you, and that's a much deserved award. Thank you to my colleagues for approving our membership into MHSAA as a MHSAA referee. I appreciate you allowing me to continue to fund my summer golfing habit by doing games. And then just a personal note, I will not be at the June meeting, so apologies in advance. I'll be on vacation. My older daughter, her clinical schedule at college goes year round, and this is literally the only week the entire summer that she would be available. So that's the only week we could take a vacation. So if you're looking to get solar panels approved or volunteer appeals through June is your time to do that, because you won't have me to worry about. Other than that, have a good night, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Powers. Ms. Knox?
Points of pride, Madison, our student council rep, her level of maturity and ability to engage with adults as soon as she got here and to sit up here it was amazing. I mean, she's truly amazing, and I can't wait to see what she does next. Sherry, thank you for everything you've done for me in the past 6 years. I don't ask for things that I already have. I can't find anything ever. So I'm always like, where is that again? And she's very helpful. Our retirees, the class of 2026. I like that Peer Pals is more formalized now. It has a more formal name. I think that gives it more credence. And Ryan, you were talking about the retirees. You probably took it back to when you were in the classroom. Yeah. So Miss Smith was my boy's kindergarten teacher. So that made me feel nostalgic in a different way and made me feel more my age. And but she was amazing, so I wish her all the best. We loved Mrs. Smith. And that is all.
Thank you. Mr. Vinatelli?
I'd like to thank all the teachers and staff that we've had. It's interesting going down the list, going from, the lowest in the totem pole to the first highest in terms of hierarchy. Kind of slowly starts to realize, like, when they were hired in, I just keep getting younger and younger, to the point that the last person who was there, I think it was 1986. I just happened to be 4 years before birth. So it was kind of interesting to see that all play out. It made me feel, I got gray hairs coming in, but
We just cut his mic off.
I still got more to say. So I thought I was getting old, but I guess I've still got a little bit more to go. But anyway, so to Mr. Sunnyberg, I appreciate you making your opinion known. I think there is a fair amount of discussion to be had about this, I suppose, and I will assume that you're making a good faith effort. Ultimately, we certainly care about kids. We want to do what's best for their learning environment. And perhaps you weren't here. I don't believe you were here when we initially discussed the Elliott Larson Expansion Act. And at that time, I did bring up a number of examples of female athletes that were harmed horribly in sports that had boys playing in the girls' league. A couple examples would be a male student who is an athlete spiking the volleyball into the face of a female athlete, completely unsuspecting the amount of force that they'd be delivered, and so doing suffered a concussion, as well as minor paralysis, which basically ruined her high school athletic career. many such cases of that. But you mentioned girls wrestling and boys, girls wrestling boys in the wrestling sport itself. I actually don't agree with that either. I think that's one of those things of wrestling that's just a consequence of there not being enough to be a girls' league. But if there was enough wrestlers, certainly they should have their own league separate from boys and girls. In fact, there are certain religious beliefs that prevent boys from being able to wrestle girls. And because of this, they have to essentially void their match, which is unfair for everybody. I reject the notion that pronouns are a ridiculous thing to get upset about. I think that's one of those things that when you start socially grooming a child at that age where they're supposed to be developing, you're not helping them in any way. You're playing politics over education. That's the last thing that you mentioned, DEI, you can't really identify it. I will do that for you right now. And that's the opposite of colorblindness, merit, and equality. Basically having anybody who achieves something based on their own skill, their own work, and their own abilities, instead of picking someone because you've identified some characteristic that you believe makes them a victim. So that's my thoughts on that. You're welcome to disagree, and I appreciate the conversation.
Thank you, Ms. Ventilli. Ms. Burkmeyer.
Just want to share my congratulations to all our retirees, the class of 2026. Sherry, our support personnel of the year, who definitely keeps all of us on track up here. There was a time where I was the youngest person on this board, and now I'm reminded yet again that I think there's two people younger than me now. That just means I'm getting older yet. So let's just not talk about that any longer. I did feel pretty good that the one person started and I was like 4 days short of being 1 year old. So, I mean, that's something for me. Other than that, I just want to thank all of our staff that has end of the school year does a lot of field trips across the district. I know South had just done a great trip to Washington, D.C., which is actually yearly, but thank you to all those staff members that are putting on end of the year programs and all the extra things that make the month of May busy for all of us, but in a good way, celebrating our students and doing all the fun things. Field trips and productions and things like that. So, and I hope everybody has a healthy, happy summer. And that's all I got.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Burkmeyer. My list is short tonight. I would like to recognize the JRROTC and the Anchor Bay Marching Tires that participated in the New Baltimore Memorial Day Parade. They did a great job representing the district. Trucks for a Cure at Middle School North is Saturday, June 6th from 1 to 4, sponsored by Relay for Life. The 2026-2027 new student registration for kindergarten through 11th grade School of Choice is now open. Congratulations to Anchor Bay Student Council member Lily Markel, who has been selected to serve on the Michigan Association of Student Council Board of Delegates. This is the first for Anchor Bay. This is the first for Anchor Bay School District. I'd like to thank the Anchor Bay Community Foundation for sponsoring an Animal Magic Assembly at McConn's. Looked like a great event. Congratulations to Ashley Elementary Principal Melissa Van Hool on being named the 2026 Communication by Design Impact Administrator of the Year. I'd like to congratulate the 14 patient care technicians on their pinning ceremony. All students displayed excellence by passing their certification exam. Congratulations to the Anchor Bay varsity baseball team on being MAC White champions. I'd also like to recognize them for the amount of community outreach that they did this season as well. I even received some emails from, different, I think they went to an elderly complex and I received an email. It's kind of cool to have them being recognized for that. Congratulations to Middle School North Student of the Month, 5th grade Vince Valente, Sophia Schur, 6th grade Lillian Hahn, Connor Lorenz, Madeline Meister, and Zoe Kreiner. Congratulations to varsity softball coach Mike Downey on his 200th career win with Anchor Bay. Great accomplishment. Reoccurring theme here tonight for my points of pride. I'd like to thank and congratulate Sherry DeScristofaro on being awarded the Support Staff Employee of the Year. Thank you for everything that you've done for me and the board. I echo everything. Thank you very much from day one. Thank you. I couldn't say enough. So That's all I have for tonight. Legislative update?
Really, there's nothing of note. The whole only game in town is the budget. They did the consensus revenue estimating conference. Basically, it said they have about not, what is it, like 90 million more in the school aid fund. It's not, the general fund's not going to shrink as much, but we're back on the countdown. They have 34 days by the law in order to pass the budget. Last year, they didn't pass it, and they didn't pass it until 108 days after that deadline. So that's the anticipation is that hopefully they'll get things moving. We'll know basically the second week of June if they don't start getting things moving, whether we'll have a budget by June 1st, because we have to pass our budget by law by the end of next month. So our next meeting's 31 days, and that gives us 3 days to get into the state, and we'd like to know what we have before then. So that's it for legislation.
All right. Has any committees met since the last Senate?
No.
All right. All right. No board committee updates. And graduation is what time tomorrow?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Looks like to be 60-ish. Dress warm. True. All right. Anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
Support.
All in favor? Aye. All right. Out of here. 10:48.